What do you mean? It's kind of oh, maybe.
That's great. Very good, guys.
Are you good? Are you okay? You need a hug? Wait, I have that too. I have a what? I have a meeting at 6.
It has a place.
Right.
Yeah, I'm about to show you my kids. Gave me an opportunity to do something, so I done And the only times in the morning I can do something is weekends.
In the corner for a while.
Alright, I call this meeting of South Dakota Mine Student Association Senate to order. Let's stand and say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Mr. Vice President, please take the roll. Comment. Byrne. Here. Busher.
Here.
Kent.
Here.
Clausen. Here. Graham. Paulson. Here. Hill.
Here.
Jensen. Jessen. King. Here. Clobber.
Here.
Keel.
Here.
Meyer.
Here.
Salcedo.
Here.
Sattler. Schaefer.
Here.
Senchins.
Present.
Smith.
Here.
Stolman.
Here.
Severson. Here. White.
Here.
Wright.
Here.
Yermolovich.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vice President, for doing that. I sent out the agenda earlier today. Sorry, it was a hectic night last night with the TIF open forum that we did for Beck Bar. Any questions on the agenda? Seeing none, do I have all in favor of approving the agenda say aye?
Aye.
Objections? Agenda approved. Minutes were sent out a couple days ago, I believe. Anybody look through those? Any errors, big errors, small?
No one found the Easter egg.
Oh.
Wow. So who actually read the minutes? Raise your hand. Okay, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Well, I guess we need better eyes or something. I don't know. Or we need to make it more extravagant. I don't know.
I definitely saw it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
We're in a simulation.
Yep.
President Boston allegedly said we're in a simulation.
We're in a simulation.
Yes.
Oh, did you read it?
I know.
I need to read my own minutes. I will admit. So, if I can be better, you can be better. How about that? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Objections? Minutes are approved. We have open floor guest here is Dr. Pierre LaRochelle, Department Head of the Leslie A. Rose Department of Mechanical Engineering. And we have a presentation. Take her away, Dr. LaRochelle.
Okay, so I was invited to come give like an overview and some highlights of the ME department. And it's all right, I'll stay sitting down. It's been a long day.
Sure.
Okay. And so that's a little vague, and it's my first time doing this with this group, so I wasn't 100% sure what you guys want to do. So there's a few slides in here. We'll go quickly, but if you guys want to stop and talk about anything as we go along, just let me know. Okay, so all right, so I'll say a few words about faculty and ongoing searches, students and faculty, and some things that are going on there, ongoing and current. Some staff updates, a little info about the research, a little bit about our strategic planning and what we're trying to do in the department, and then wrap up with a little summary. Okay. So keep going. Faculty and searches. Keep going. So the department's currently searching for 2 people: a junior person in thermal fluid sciences and a senior person to support aerospace engineering. We added an aerospace engineering minor 4 years ago, and it's proven to be pretty popular. And we're in the process of growing aerospace engineering. We'll talk some more about that. So in case you're curious, that's everybody. This academic year in the ME department. The colors are professorial ranks. There's a couple of names there with I put some asterisks in front of them to just say like the first one, Dr. Baron Codd. So the Addy professorship is a new professorship. That started middle of last calendar year. Tad Alva Addy, alumnus of our department, had a very, very successful career leading mechanical engineering at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. From South Dakota, retired up in Spearfish, and so he and his wife made a nice gift, and so now we have the Addy professorship held by Cassandra Bearcott. The other dots I have in there, new people. So new lecturer, Dr. Mohan Budaluri joined us in fall, and another new lecturer, Dr. Vincent Wang joined us, and an assistant professor, Tahir Diniad joined us this year. So those are the asterisks, the new things that have happened. Go ahead, Clint. So some things about students and faculty. I thought you might be to put things into context. This is a chart. If you can't read the numbers aren't important. I think the trend's more important. This is nationwide in the United States, the count of mechanical engineering BS degrees awarded annually. Okay, so you can see the trend, and then there's something that happened a few years ago, right? And that is 18 years ago, people stopped making as many babies. So there's a demographic cliff of that's happening, and so this is the nationwide trend in college is fewer students going to college, right? So that's starting to hit the count for nationwide in terms of BS degrees produced in the country. This is us here at School of Mines, the count of ME undergraduates. Again, if you can't read the numbers, it's not important. The trends are what's important, right? And so this is, the last few years is what's putting a lot of the silver stuff on my head, right? Because it's great having more and more students be ME, and there's a bunch of MEs around the room right now, which I'm very happy to see. But with more students comes all kinds of benefits and some challenges too. Go ahead, Clive. One thing we've been working on really hard the last several years, at least since I've been here, which is 8 years now at School of Mines, is trying to increase the female enrollment in our BSME program. And so that's raw count in numbers, and so you can see the trend there. It's annual numbers. To put it into context, go to the next slide, and that's the percentage of the ME undergrads that are female. So on the left end is 4%, which is not good. To put it into context, nationwide it's about 13%. It floats between 12 and 13% nationwide, right? And so I believe the number on the right, I can't read it, but I think it's 11, right? Right? So we're getting there, right? It's gone up from 4 to 11. We still hope this trend continues. And it's something we've been working really hard at. When I got here, the number of female faculty in the ME department was 0. Okay, now we have 3, right? That helps. Lots of things we're trying to do. STEM outreach, things like that. Okay, so, next. So that's the count of ME undergraduates, and just to let you know where we're at in terms of the numbers, right? So one thing I keep track of is our student faculty ratio, and that's 40 to 1 in our department. Okay. Again, to put that into context with other ME departments in the country, right? So what's the number on the right? 640 what? 642. So that was the fall census count of ME undergraduates, right? Which is like 31.8% of the student body on campus, right? But so that makes us a big monster, right? Compared to all the other programs on our campus. But we're like right average for an ME department in the country, right? The average ME department in the country has between 600 and 700 students, right? So we're an average size ME department. With just what's not average is everything else on this campus, and we're a very small school, right? So, for example, University of Michigan, big, right? Within 4 students, the same number of students that we have, right? Okay, keep going. So, if you want to see like relative to the rest of the campus, that's the count of undergraduates in all of the majors on campus annually. And there's one line at the top, and then there's everybody else. One that concerns me a little bit is if you look at all the lines at the bottom, they're either flat or they're going down, almost all of them. And school enrollment, if it wasn't for us the last few years, overall school enrollment would have been going down if we didn't have our growth. Okay. All right, keep going, please. So there's a count of ME faculty per year. So this is one of the challenges that we deal with, because we've had all this growth, and what you can see, of course, is we haven't grown in faculty. Right? So that's one of the challenges we're going. Now we're trying to do that a little bit this year with 2 additional faculty, and so that'll help a lot. These are the count of students that have graduated with the aerospace engineering minor, right? So it's only just started, right? So this is the first 2 years, and so and right now there are more than 60 students pursuing the aerospace engineering minor. We're working on a couple of new programs. You may have heard some rumors. I know the president's mentioned it a couple of places, right? So we're working on an MS in aerospace engineering. That'll be housed in the ME department, and we're also working in collaboration with the EECS department, jointly offering a BS in robotics engineering. So those are in the works and in the proposal phase. So that they're a few years off, a couple of years off, at least. Okay. But there's a lot of progress being made. So the BS in robotics would be administered and run in the ME department, but be offered in collaboration in conjunction with a mix of ME and each faculty teaching those courses. Okay. Keep going, Clive.
What is aerospace engineering? Is it you're working on rockets when you graduate, or what do you do?
That's part of it, right? So aerospace engineering's got two big stems. One stem is aeronautics, right, which is flight in the air. So that's fixed wing aircraft, rotary wing aircraft. That's the aerospace engineer's way of saying planes and helicopters,
Okay.
right? Everything that and drones, everything that flies in an atmosphere like Earth. And then there's the astronautics side of aerospace engineering, which is everything that flies in space where there is no atmosphere. So rockets and rovers and satellites and all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. Sure. We've got 2 new elective courses that are being created right now and will be offered for the first time this summer. Both will be offered in the summer, and then one will be offered next fall. So we're excited to have a couple of new courses on the machine design robotics side of mechanical engineering, and there are more coming in the pipeline. Faculty are developing some other new courses. One thing that's happened in the last couple of years is we've seen a lot of interest in offering summer courses from our students. So this is what's on the summer schedule right now for the ME department for summer. These are all online and asynchronous, and this is a change, right? 5 years ago, we offered nothing in the summer, online or in person. But students want to take them, and the enrollment has all been strong and all these things. So it helps support our students when they're out on summer internships and co-ops. So these are all online and asynchronous, and so they can catch up or they can get ahead. Right. Keep on. Staff updates. Go ahead. So we have 4 staff that support the ME department. We're very, very thrilled and happy that now Brittany is full time. She was at 2/3 time. For the ME students in the room, they know, right? It was hard because Brittany went home every day at 1:30, and there's all these people trying to get Brittany to do things and help them, and then but now she's there full time. Okay, keep going. Research stuff, I had no idea what you wanted to talk about. So in terms of metrics, the main metric that quite often, like what the university cares about, is research. It's called research expenditures. How much are you spending on research, right? Because that reflects on how many grants are coming in, right? And grants come in, and it's nice to say that the amount of the grant comes in, but how much research activity is going on is when you spend the money, right? When you hire students, when you buy equipment, and all that kind of stuff, right? So we've been trending up, and last year's research expenditures were like a couple of bucks under $1 million, right? Something like that. Okay. Strategic planning, things that we're working on. Mission value goals, mission vision goals, and key performance indicators. We're continuing to work to develop those 2 new programs I already talked about, and deploying and new courses. I continue to spend a lot of my time fundraising. That's how the ME department is managing with the growth. Very successful last year, right? I'm not going to raise $8 million this year. I mean, the $6 million largest gift in the school history is part of that, but I've been averaging somewhere around $2 million a year, which is how we're able to keep functioning. Hiring 2 additional faculty members, as you've already heard. And then if you live and work in the CM building, or you take classes in the CM building, we've been doing a lot of facility upgrades, right? The CM building is the busiest building on campus. It's the most utilized building on campus. It's the one with the heaviest foot traffic on campus. It is 74 years old, okay? And it houses the 2 biggest departments on campus, right? ME and Civil and Environmental Engineering. And so Dr. Stone, who heads up the CE department, and we spend a lot of our time fundraising to bring in resources to remodel and revamp facilities. And if you come into our CM, we've got these places, we like to give them fun names like the zoo and the hive and the aquarium and the den and the cave and the forest and all that stuff. Those are all facilities that we remodeled to support our project-based hands-on learning. The faculty, we're working really hard to grow our expertise in generative AI and adding it in a strategic way to our core ME undergraduate courses. So it's slowly happening, and then we're focusing a bunch of efforts on that And there'll be a step change that will happen in fall of '26, a bunch more, to help get our students ready for the real world. Okay. Some numbers about Emmy. I didn't know what you want to see, so okay. So just to put things in the context, right? You know, we get all this crazy number of recruiters that come to our career fair, as you all know. Go ahead, Clive. Right, 237 companies. One more. 143 are coming to hire, wanting to hire MEs, right? We graduate a bunch, but we don't graduate 143. In spring, we're on track that I think it's going to be the largest graduating class ever for ME. I think I'm going to be shaking 111 hands at graduation, right? No one else is over 50. Okay. Go ahead. And then, you know, the starting salaries continue to be really strong, and our placement continues to be really strong for our students, and that we're very proud of. Right? They're getting jobs. Right? So we're at 31%. The last 3 years, the freshman classes have been somewhere between 31 and 32%. So current trends continue. We're gonna go over a third of the freshman class either this fall or next fall. I'm fine with it. I'd like the other majors to have growth too, but right? Obviously I love their needs, so I understand other people liking it too. That's it. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about ME or expand on any of that stuff that I threw up there. I know it went fast, but like I said,
Senator Burmeister.
Yeah, just going back to the aerospace program that you're looking at building up again. Have you talked about doing it joint with the EE department as well as just like what you're doing for?
not right now.
Okay.
There's going to be there's some reasons for that.
Okay.
They're not bad. They're just obvious due to resources and personnel.
Okay.
Okay.
I know that there's a large interest in it within the EE department.
Within the students.
Yes.
Yes.
What are the questions we got? I got a question here, I guess, and I'll talk about. There's been a lot of interest I've heard from students in like manufacturing engineering. How is that playing a role in the way that the mechanical engineering department is moving forward?
Well, we just hired Dr. Vincent Wang, who has extensive expertise in manufacturing. And the next faculty hire we're going to do, I'm going to be asking for a manufacturing person.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Vice President?
I'd have to say, first of all, Greg has been amazing. Everyone speaks very, very well of Greg, and he's been awesome for the
Yeah.
teams. He's been awesome for all
Yeah.
the mechanical students. He's been really, really great.
Right. So does everybody know who you're talking about? I mean, we hired a new lab coordinator last
He
fall.
came in with us last fall.
Okay, great. Okay, good.
Yeah, so that is really exciting. Also, Greg is being full-time. That's really awesome, too. I know everyone loves her. When we had the open forum, I think last semester, you talked about the senior electives that seniors or all students were interested in, and the top two were machine design 2 and computer aided design and manufacturing. Do you think those will be coming back as electives?
Yeah. I shared those with the faculty and they went, oh. So, yeah. Plans are in the works for the 26-27 year.
That's amazing.
The reality is that the Board of Regents requires us to schedule so far in advance that, over a calendar year, right? So like Friday of this week, I have to turn in spring 27 schedule. And I'm trying to hire 2 people right now, right? Have no idea what their expertise is and what they want to teach in spring of 27. Well, I've got to turn in spring 27 schedule right now. So, I mean, I can make some edits, but, so that's one of our challenges is how far in advance we have to publish the courses.
So that follow-up question to that would be for those new elective courses over here. What are those? Those must have been scheduled like a bit previously than like in spring of 20.
No, summer we have a lot more flexibility in summer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So summer we have a lot of flexibility, and because the other thing that's flexible is that these are elective courses, right? The required courses, we have to really lock down a year in advance, right? So there's a lot more flexibility with elective courses and, of course, graduate courses. But the required undergrads are what we have to lock down.
Okay. So like the machine design too, and computer aided design manufacturer would be elective courses, right?
Yep.
So those would have more leeway in.
If the hiring goes well, they will be offered either fall 26 or spring 27. We'll see which one, depending on how the hiring happens and who we hire.
Senator Bowmeister?
I know that this is, there's contention between the departments to begin with.
Who's got contention?
I
don't have any contention with any departments.
don't read department. With Capstone, there's been a little bit of conflict, and I just wanted, as the department head, there's significant changes within the W department, especially with regards to Capstone. There was some miscommunication with Capstone between ME and W, where in previous years, the two departments have worked very closely on Capstone or senior design projects, and there's a larger disconnect that happened this last year. Do you know of anything that's in the works of repairing those communications?
There was, you're asking each question, so you should talk to them, right? In case you don't, everybody knows, right? Probably everybody's an engineering major, right? So, we try and coordinate multidisciplinary projects out of ME, right? Dr. Ash does senior design for ME, and so we invite every program on campus to collaborate with the projects and create multidisciplinary teams and all that stuff. Some departments choose to do that, some departments don't. And sometimes it comes down to faculty member, and each, Dr. Butterfield, loved doing it. And you got different people doing it now, and they weren't so excited about it. So that's all it is. It's a volunteer thing. We invite, and they can come play if they want. That's how we do it.
Senator Boucher?
So many of my friends are currently graduating or in the process of graduating and applying for jobs after school. And one of the common issues they find in applying for jobs is the requirement of the Six Sigma Green Belt certification that they don't have, and no one informs them within their department that they can pursue it here. Are there any plans to change that?
Which department offers, is that IE?
Yeah.
So, that Dr. Stone oversees that, right? So that's not me. I have not had one ME come to me and say, I wish I'd taken the Six Sigma, or the Green Belt, right? So this is news to me, right? So, and if they need to spread the word out more, we're happy to put up flyers and emails and all that stuff to make sure students know about, the Green Belt. I think for MEs, probably somebody here is doing it, right? I think it's 2 classes MEs have to take, and then they earn the belt because of the other ones we already have. At least, anyway, it used to be 2 classes for MEs.
Vice President Wee?
So I've heard some exciting things about expansions in the shop. Are you at liberty to talk about some of the plans for equipment in that department?
This is where we're at right now with the, so last summer we did the major renovations to fix the infrastructure, right? I had to fundraise to fix the freaking floor, right? But we did it, okay? And so now we've got a good solid foundation in there, and we got a good new lab coordinator, right? So the plan is that, when I hired Greg, I said, you're gonna go through one cycle, right? One academic year, fall, spring, working with the mentors, working with all the classes, and going through one cycle of senior design. And what he's doing this academic year is taking an inventory. What gets used, what doesn't get used, what capabilities do we not have that we should have, and so he's making a list, and he's already compiled a list of new machine tools and things like that we're going to be looking at purchasing. And so once the design fair happens on, the 14th or 15th, I forget, right? but tax day, right? It's that Tuesday, right? Once that happens, Greg and I will be getting together and we'll go through that list. And thanks to ME alums, I've got some resources sitting in accounts upstairs. So once we identify and prioritize, the biggest challenge is not going to be getting the equipment. The biggest challenge is going to be finding space for the equipment. Because if you're an ME student, you know if I buy a big new machine tool, something's got to go. We don't have place for a new thing, right? So something's got to go. So that's part of what we're going to be having to decide is, you know, what's going, right? And that's what I've tasked Greg with, is to identify what we need and what's got to go to make room for the new things. And so the purchases will be happening like spring, and you know, if things go right in delivery and we don't have tariff hell and all that stuff, we should get some new equipment in here by the time fall starts.
And Senator Meyer, you'll be the last question for Dr. Rogers.
I was just wondering if you had any updates on the progress of the storage project you had. You had like...
Yeah, the cabinets were delivered this morning.
Okay.
Right? So 14 custom-made cabinets, and they'll be installed tomorrow. Yeah. So for everybody, we bought 14 cabinets that each have 5 compartments, so 14 times 5 places for students to store all the hardware for their projects. You know, like we do project-based hands-on stuff, right? And so these are going to be in the hallways, and the second floor is CM. And they're combination locks so that student teams can set their own combination and access their stuff 24/7.
We want to thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. All right.
Sure. Happy to come.
All right. Next up is another open floor guest. We have Vice President of the Board of Regents, Mr. Jeff Partridge.
Oh, that's me. I'm going to stand if that's okay.
You bet.
Do I stand in front of this thing or?
Sure, stand wherever you'd like.
Oh, it'll pick me up or talk to me or something while I go. Well, good evening. My name is Jeff Partridge. I am the Vice President of the Board of Regents, and I am very happy to be here again. You know, talking to you about, I think my topic is SHED, right? The SHED Day, and who's all going to SHED this year? All right, cool. That's a great showing. Before I get started, I wanted to tell you that when I woke up this morning, I was laying my clothes out, and I said, what can I wear that I would look as good as Jacob and Clyde last night? I mean, we're talking about 2 guys that were really sharp, but more than that, they were outstanding, as were a number of you helping, thank you, but outstanding at running that forum. And the way that you put that together and negotiate with both sides and then held firm on your format and all the rest of it, it was such an amazing learning experience. President Tandy said, who's winning on this thing? And I said, the students, you know, because you guys had such a great experience. So you looked really, really sharp. And on my way down here today, I stopped at Michael's Menswear and I got you guys $200 gift certificates from Michael's Menswear, so go buy yourself something and stay looking really sharp. But way to go in going to talk to legislators, I am a former legislator. I was in the House, I was in the Senate. Now I'm on the Board of Regents. And so leadership is hard, and you get there and you're in leadership, and then this thing called, SHED Day sort of happens in late January. Not one legislator up there knows what SHED stands for. And I didn't either until I was on the Board of Regents. I was like, SHED, we've got SHED Day, what are we doing? Are we building sheds? Are we doing, what's happening here? No idea. Didn't realize at all that these are students of higher ed and that they're going to be walking around the Capitol. But what I would tell you is that it's really, really important for those of you going to be there, okay? And you should look really, really good when you do go there. You can never look too good, I always say, because you can actually dress down if you need to. But I mean, go there, look good, look the part, shake the hand. When you're talking to legislators, though, the first thing I would suggest you do is thank them for supporting the School of Mines. Hi, my name is Jeff. I'm from the School of Mines. Thank you for supporting the School of Mines. Did I mention the School of Mines? It takes 3 times. Okay? They're thinking about 42,000 things, and normally they think about 4 things all day long. Okay? It's really a run type deal when you're an elected official. So don't worry about repeating what you say, and say it very slowly, and typically a little louder than you normally would, because these are old people a lot of times. So say it loud, say it slow, and say School of Mines. All right, that's really, really key. You want to try to draw them in to thanking them for the School of Mines. You want to try to draw them in to saying, do I support the School of Mines? I guess you're welcome. You want them there. Okay, so that's number 1. Don't thank them for their service. Don't thank them for being here. Don't talk about the what. Who cares? Don't ask them what committee they're on. Don't ask them where they're from. You can look up all that online. And you really don't care anyway. You're just filling space. Okay? You want to thank them for supporting the School of Mines. That's number 1. Number 2, I would tell you that you should have one thing in your mind that you should talk to them about. Okay? Again, let's not go to Pier and talk to people about the weather, or are you having a good session? No, it's terrible. What else do you want to know? Have something in mind. What is it, that one thing that you want to talk about? Okay? Who's EE in here? Anyone want to talk about, electrical type stuff or AI or whatever? Who's that? Talk about stuff what is it, that one thing that is really important to you? And ask them, how do you see AI impacting the future? Be a nice broad question. And ask them that question. Let them sit there and go, I don't know. That's okay. Let them think about that. You want to leave them with an impression that, frankly, some of the questions you ask might be the fact that they go, hey, if that's the future, we're in good hands. But you have to be ready. You have to be ready for that. So be ready with that one thing. Yes, it can be a social thing. If you want to ask about social issues, go ahead. If that's your one thing, ask about it. You want to ask about something that has to do with your major, ask about it. You want to ask about something you heard about, go ahead. If you really care about it, okay? I would venture to say that hardly any of you in this room actually care about property tax right now. Maybe 1. Okay, 2. All right? But the rest of you, don't ask about that. I mean, there's, 19 proposals out there, and there's just all this conversation, and it's in the news, but it's like, ask about something that really matters to you, that really, really is important. Okay? Third, if you are talking to them, you could ask the question, after you thank them, and you might ask them something really, really, important to you. You might also ask them, say, I'm in college. I'm at the university. I'm studying hard, I'm working hard, I'm gaining experience all the time. Let me ask you this. In your opinion, what could I do to bolster or boost or improve my experience at the university to be more ready for the workforce? A lot of these legislators actually are employers. Now, they're probably not going to employ you, okay? But they're employers. And so they might have a really interesting answer, because you'll be interviewing with folks like them in the not too distant future. And so if you were to say something like, hey, what is it that I could do that would improve my experience level at the university in order to be more ready for the workforce? That would be a really interesting question to hear what the legislators might say. They might say, hone your writing skills. They might say, write a professional email, not a blast. Jeff Partridge would say, write a handwritten thank you note. That's what I would say. Because you know what? Those work. By the way, if any of you end up doing that, that is the one thing that'll get read that day, is a handwritten thank you note. And if you were to take along some stationery that said SD Mines on it, and you wrote a little note, hey, Senator Partridge, really enjoyed our conversation. Thanks so much. Jacob, School of Mines, senior, whatever will help them remember and identify who you were. Because by the time they read that note, they will have gone through another 10,000 things. You know, so it's just a mad dash when you're there for, you know, that 38 days in Pierre, okay? Those of you that are from South Dakota, not you, Austin, but those of you that are from South Dakota have 6 legislators typically. Unless you are from this district, unless you grew up in Rapid Valley or around this campus, you most likely have 6 legislators. What do I mean? I mean that you have 3 at home and you have 3 here. So guess what? Go find them. Go talk to them. I'm your constituent, especially if you're from South Dakota and you go find those people from Aberdeen. What's the first thing you're going to say? Thank you for supporting the School of Mines. Second thing, ask your question or your content item. And third, ask about experience. Okay? That is how I would coach you to do this because I think it's really important. You should look them in the eye. You should shake hands, right? Web to web, do that whole thing. You guys know how to do that pretty well here. But I always say do that because it's just a matter of making sure that you really greet them and are professional about it. Okay? So that's my advice this year for SHED, is really to be knowing maybe who your legislators are. But you know what? If you can't find them, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Okay? But if you're clustering with 5, 6, 7, 8 other students and you're kind of cruising through the hall like this, you know, you're doing it incorrectly. 2 of you, maybe 3, go off. They have name badges on. The House is, I think, black and the Senate's white, or maybe they're all black and I don't know, whatever they are. You'll see it. You'll know. They're the legislators. Go find them and go talk to them. Go right up to them and go, oh, hi, I'm Jeff Partridge. I'm Representative May. Oh, nice to meet you, Representative May. You know, thank you for supporting the School of Mines. Well, I really don't. No, I really want to thank you. You know, don't want to finish that. You know, it's like you want to suck it in because we want to thank him for supporting what the School of Mines. Okay, and then just really work hard to find them and really get engaged with them at that level. That's what I would coach you to do for SHED this year. Do not talk to your students. You can do that on the bus. Go talk to the legislators. Get in front of them. They are more scared of you than you are of them. Believe me, these people aren't around young people. They don't understand it. They don't know it. They don't know what you're thinking. Okay? So, I mean, they are really freaked out, frankly, and don't know what to say to you. You know, then some of them will say, well, you're learning a bunch of woke stuff, right? And you'll be like, you know, don't worry about that type of political commentary. Go back to your, whatever it is your thing is. Okay? Questions? Right.
So you mentioned a lot of legislators don't even know about SHED coming in. Is there anything we can do ahead of SHED to inform them? And is that even worthwhile given there's going to be a million different things they'll think about between now and then?
Great question. They're inundated with all kinds of stuff right now. So if you blast emails to all of them, they won't read it. You're doing an amazing thing on Sunday night. You're doing this Candlelight Capital thing. I love it. I love the Sunday night thing. I always have. You know that, Jacob, because I said that early. Do something Sunday night. I hope it really works out great. I think it will. And so, you know, you're telling people about that, and you're inviting people to it, and that kind of thing. Your home legislators, if you're from South Dakota, okay, you should be inviting them and expecting them to show up. So that's something you can do, without question. Or your home legislators right here. Tony Randolph, Tina Mullally, Greg Blanc. Those are 3 people. They're not exactly supportive of higher ed. Get them there. You know, send them an email, send them a note. Hey, this is on January, 25th or whatever it is. Yep. You know, we want you there. We sure hope to have you. It'd be great to see you. You know, that type of thing. All right? So that's something you can do, is try to invite them to that Sunday night deal. You know, really help them get there. I think that'd be wonderful. We'll be in the Capitol. You know, we will be seeing, I look forward to seeing you. You know, so that's all really, really good.
How about policies? Like, I don't know of very many policies this year that are going to be affecting the VOR and universities. I guess, can you comment on it? Are there any policies that you have your eye on that are aimed directly toward the board at the university?
Yeah, it's so early right now for me to actually comment on that, frankly. we're just starting to see a lot of these bills kind of trickle in, right now, and I'm starting to analyze them because it's very interesting. Here's where we're at right now. We are in the second year of some people coming in thinking they know it all. And they're just at the phase where they really kind of don't know it all. And so they're just learning that. That first year they're like, I know what to do here, I'm coming in. And then that second year they're like, geez, this is really it's kind of a big thing. And my bill actually that I brought last year has unintended consequences that I didn't think about. There's a reason we do a lot of the things we do in South Dakota. And so as these bills are being introduced, they're kind of working on them and learning and that kind of thing. I don't have a bill for you. I will have more info for you, as will our staff, for you by the time that comes around. So that if you feel comfortable enough to talk at the level about a certain bill, we'll be ready with a couple, 2, 3 of those by the time you go. But I would caution you against that. It takes you down a rabbit hole. If you're not prepared to talk about the bill, then you're just kind of asking about something and you're drifted into some arena that, might be, kind of interesting. And if they're not the bill sponsor, then they probably don't know about the bill anyway. So just be very, very careful. But if you can see at the bill, if you go look who the bill sponsor is, and if it happens to be someone that you know and you want to go ask about it, you can, be ready with that and prepare for that. But otherwise, I just would caution you to really do your homework if you're gonna do that, do it right.
What other questions we got? Senator Bowmeister.
With regards to the bill, is there any way that we could, I don't know, I might get backlash from Dean Joe over there, as to updating or changing the rule for how often the university needs to update the buildings on campus so that we can kind of stay a little bit more ahead of what this campus actually looks like and what we're providing.
Yep. Great point. 10 years ago, maybe even a couple more, Dennis Dugard was the governor of South Dakota. Okay? Dennis Dugard said, I want these buildings that we have and all of our state buildings to put a 2% of appraised value into maintenance and repair every single year. We have never hit it until this year. Governor Roden said, let's put 2% into these buildings and make sure we at least hit it once. And we're going to do that in fiscal year 26, which ends June 30. So the maintenance and repair today, if you happen to see the governor or talk to the governor or lieutenant governor, which is Tony Van Huysen, that is someone you can really thank for maintenance and repair because they put it into the budget. And they put in like 1.25% and then they actually put in, or 1.25 was already there and then they put the additional one-time money in to make it 2%. So that's a really, really key point in South Dakota. We don't really buy any of these buildings in South Dakota ourselves. We maintain them, but oftentimes they're fundraised in order to be built. It's amazing. The generosity that comes in from donors and the ability to fundraise, like has happened on this campus with Carol. Unbelievable work done on this campus in the last 5 years. What was it? Is it New Heights? Is that what the campaign was? I mean, and truly was. I mean, just over 100 million or 120 million or whatever it ended up as. Just fantastic amount of money that was raised here in order to help with some of that maintenance and repair. But also, the South Dakota is very much interested in that. Good to see you. Yeah. So great question. Governor Roden in the budget today put that in for actual 2%. This is the first time we're actually going to hit it since really that challenge percentage was thrown out there over 10 years ago.
Senator Wright.
Two-part question. First part being, do you foresee a tuition freeze or tuition buy down within the upcoming fiscal years? Second question is, why is South Dakota one of the only states where state funds can't go to athletic scholarships, and will that ever change in the near future?
So first question has to do with the tuition freeze. You're kind of looking at the guy who was the driver behind that for 4 years in a row. We froze tuition during some of the most egregious inflation that we've seen in our lifetimes. Those of us who are old enough, we were pretty young, frankly, at the time, but we saw, double-digit inflation in about 1980, 81, somewhere right early 80s. So for us to keep tuition, flat for the years that we did, when in 2022 the CPI was 9%, that inflation rate was just incredible. So I really, really am glad that we did that, and it was just this last year that we said, okay, we can't do this anymore, because really what it got, I was like, let's do it for 10 years. That's kind of what I wanted to do. But we got to a point where our deliverable was starting to suffer, and I can't live with that, right? So equipment and all this other stuff was kind of getting to the point where it's like, all right, well, we can rah-rah a no fee increase, but what if we did 2.9%? And I was on the 2% side, not the 4% side. We settled at 2.9, but we really, the deliverables what I was worried about, and that's what was being reported back to me from students, faculty, presidents were all saying, hey, this is, I know it's great, but we gotta do something here on this front. So we raised the tuition. That's really our board of regents, determines that. We can try to go to the legislature and try to get them to actually fund a tuition freeze. I don't see that happening this year or next. So it's a little bit of a challenge when you look at the 0% increase for teachers, for Medicaid providers, and for state employees to go and say, hey, buy down our tuition. We had that, and a number of them just kind of said, hey, you had your turn, you go to the back of the line now. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to the back of the line, I want to stay in front. So anyway, that's what I do. On the scholarship type front, I don't really have a clear answer for you on that. We have a policy in place, as you know, and so I would just say probably not would be the answer to that. So, yeah, you bet.
Senator Meyer.
I was just thinking about the steps you kind of laid out when approaching the legislators, and I was just, you mentioned that you have your one big topic that you kind of bring in. I'm assuming that first of all means that you're trying not to give them too many more things to think about.
Not necessarily. Like you might say, hey, I'm from Nebraska. How do you feel about out-of-state students coming to South Dakota? Because I'm really glad to be here.
Right.
I mean, that might be is that your thing? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe you're just like, yeah, whatever.
Right.
Or you could tell them, look, I looked at a number of schools around the country and chose a school of mine. I'm from mid-state Nebraska, and I really, this was what I chose, and I had a lot of opportunities to go elsewhere. Right. I don't know, is that important to you? Whatever that is, go ahead. And don't worry too much about, dragging them. I just get a little concerned if you're going to try to drag them into the weeds, then that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for both of you.
Sure, if you're trying to broaden the usage of generative AI in South Dakota on the school front or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of way too broad topics.
Yeah.
You're trying to narrow them down.
Yeah, and so what you have is out of 105 legislators, you got 70 of them that think that AI is ChatGPT.
Sure. Yeah.
They don't know. They don't use the word generative. They don't know what that means either. So it's just like, how would I answer that question, or what would I say about that? I mean, you'll have some that are comfortable in their skin, they'll just be like, that's why we're educating you. I have no idea. Something like Alan Ostruck would say that from memory. And I love that. And he would be comfortable enough to say that. But I mean, a number of them might try to make something up or try to, do whatever. So you want to try to, I think what you want to try to do is try to kind of, pull them into really supporting the school minds, pull them into really saying, wow, your question, can help them think about what it is. And so I think that might, whatever that is for you, And if you're prepared for it, you know, it might be really good. I just feel like there's a number of students that came up to me over the years that are just like, well, Senator Partridge, how's session going? It's terrible. We don't have any money. Any other questions? You know, because I was always on appropriations. So it's like, you know, it was hard to sometimes answer some of that, you know, whatever. If there was a pointed question of, what do you think about this? Or, here's what I'm studying. I just want to share this with you. This is really going well. We've got this ME stuff, and I mean, our enrollment is like through the roof here. This is fantastic, and I'm part of that. I was just curious what you thought about mechanical engineering or something like, you know, whatever it is.
For us is trying to get people to stay here, but there's not jobs in the area, for instance. So
Yeah.
Talking about a topic like that.
Yeah, you could definitely bring that up. What are you doing in your mind? Are there things that are happening here in the legislature that are helping create the environment for new jobs being created for School of Mines kids? What does that look like to you?
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And I saw Senator Sessions, I think you'll be the last one.
Yeah, are there gonna be any changes after the whole housing deal plan survey?
Yeah, so one of the changes that I'm looking at is the provider. I'm not happy, okay? I was at USD with my son who goes there, and I went to a napkin dispenser, empty. Went to the next napkin dispenser, empty. Next, empty. I couldn't get a napkin around here. I need like burritos going all over. I need a napkin. My son Ben said, there's no napkins, and there never is. So you gotta be kidding me. You know, this is just ridiculous in my mind. Well, one call fix that, right? Because I called. And I'm just like, we're fixing this. And it just seems so silly to me, some of these very, very simple things. This is not a staffing thing. This is not a post-COVID thing. It was napkins. How many of those things are happening with this current provider? Too many. Okay? Too many. Their contract is up in a year. You think I'm looking at renewing it? Not saying anything. Not saying anything. I'm saying I'm looking. All right. So it is really, really concerning to me. Now, one of the things we did back in the day was we did a statewide deal. I thought that we would really be good with a company that could do a statewide contract. 6 universities, all using you. You know, love us, we'll love you, it'll go great, right? Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to actually have 2 different companies on 2 sides of the state. Now, my question is, what is it that we can do here on this side of the state to be creative about that? We kind of know hospitality in Rapid City. We kind of know food. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that with Black Hills State and with School of Mines? And so we're thinking outside the box a little bit about what it is that we do. Could it be a private company here in town that does hotels that might be able to help us do food service? Yep, sure could. In addition, there are a ton of food requirements today by students that are different than, quote, yesterday. And so we're interested in that. How do we do that? How do we look at, you know, the different food plans and you know, broadening that out and that sort of thing and making that better, easier, you know, for all students. So yeah, that's something that we're really focused on at the Board of Regents. On the housing side, frankly, we're pretty comfortable. You might not like that answer, but we're pretty comfortable with the fact that I think there is nothing like the freshman experience in a dorm. I think you need to be there. We have a number of exceptions though. If you have all kinds of exceptions to the actual dorm experience, we have a number of them. And so I think that to me says when you're undergrad, your lower, you know, freshman, sophomore type thing, there's just an amazing opportunity to meet a lot of people and be around an environment that is really, really cool. I tell parents that all the time. I'm like, hey, you only really have one shot to do that freshman experience. 17, 18, 19, otherwise it's over. You know, you're done. And so it's just, to me, I really believe in that. I think it's an amazing opportunity to be around people that are all experiencing such an unbelievable change. You know, you take this tree, you uproot that thing from high school, and you plant it back down at a university and cover it with dirt, and you're all together then in this grove, and that to me is just amazing. I really think that's cool. So I like that. I'm not going to change that, you know, on the housing type front. So we are working with a number of partners. You can see what we've done here, you know, and trying to encourage more of that. We want to keep going down that path as well to have more housing availability that's actually nice, you know, not some of the stuff that used to be here. So we're very interested in moving forward. The folks upstairs here in this building are helping with that, obviously, as is the leadership from President Tandy, and so I'm excited about moving forward on that front.
All right, thank you, Regent Partridge.
Okay.
Thank you for supporting school lives.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, thank you.
And that's on behalf of the Student Senate, so have a good night.
A journal about this today.
Thank you, I appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you all for doing that. We're gonna move quickly through this next part so we can get y'all out of here, all right? We have no unfinished business, we have no new business. This is the time for open discussion. Anybody have any points? Seeing none, moving on.
Oh, sir. So, Senator, since it's your last question to Vice President Partridge,
Yeah.
there was a first reading of a new housing meal plan requirement policy. So this is not state law. This is the Board of Regents. And the one thing on housing that he didn't mention, it will allow, like, if you need to stay over spring break, for example, for an athletic team or work, say work for public safety, if that passes in the second reading, you wouldn't have to pay for it. Currently, you would have to pay if you stay over spring break or Christmas break. It would be complimentary. So that is one change after that survey.
Senator White?
Would that potentially mean, like, overall, like, if you need to stay over break, you wouldn't have to pay, like, at all? Does it matter the reason, or specifically for those reasons?
Yeah, as of the draft of the first reading, you don't need to have like a really compelling reason. Even if you say, like, hey, things aren't good at home right now, I want to stay here, that would be good. For winter and spring break. We don't charge for Thanksgiving, Easter,
All right, seeing no other points, so open discussion. Moving on to CFO report.
Just one thing to report, SOAP hearings are the last weekend in January, / first week in February. So that Saturday, January 31st, and Sunday, February 1st. Tell your orgs, I sent out an email trying to get the schedule finalized from when their time slots are going to be. If you have any conflicting times or dates for the hearings, contact me, we'll work it out in a report.
All right, any questions for CFO Schott? Seeing none, moving on to VP report.
All right, thank you so much for bearing with our speakers. I think hopefully that was interesting. I think it was for next conversation. The TIF panel discussion I think went well. For me, the biggest takeaway was we started growing that relationship with the community, right? Whether it was one side or the other, whether it was the city or activist people. I think we started growing that relationship, and that was really nice. We had a councilman reach out actually recently who wanted to see how students can be involved in the city, whether it's interning with the engineering department there or even doing projects for the city. So I think all of that is really interesting, and I think it's a great start. Even if it comes out of like something as simple as hosting a panel like this. So I appreciate those of you who helped out in that. That was very helpful. The leadership soirees this coming week, so next Wednesday. That's going to be pretty big. I'm going to send the RSVP to you all. I'll probably need some help ushering and stuff, but I'll reach out later. I want to thank Jamelia and Nathan for getting some prizes. We have some really cool prizes coming up. We're going to have to go shopping at some point and get some Legos and whatnot. So it's gonna be pretty awesome. It's the second semester. It's gonna be a shorter semester, so I appreciate you all working hard and kind of finishing out this year well. If you're thinking about running again for election or being on the Senate again, start thinking about that now. Let me know if I can help you or give you advice on anything, or if you have questions about how many hours I put in my role, stuff like that, please let me know. I'm around a lot, you'll see me a lot in the office. Remember your why, remember that you're representing the student body, so please be attentive to what your colleagues are saying, whether it's campus life, job searches, whatever. Just please be attentive. Also pay attention to your emails and Signal. There's a lot of information that we're going to be spitting out, especially for SHED and whatnot, so please be attentive to that. I notice a lot of my messages are left unread for 24 hours by most of you guys, And sometimes those are important messages, so please be attentive to that. I really appreciate that. End of report.
All right, any questions for VP Weed? Sort of stole my thunder there. No, I want to thank you all for participating in that tip last night. That was wonderful, echoing what Clive said. As we move toward a time of shed and just looking at this spring, we are going to have department head presentations every week until like March. And that's a time where we can really lift up the praises, ask questions about the challenges. That's what we're here to do. We've had a lot of department town halls with President Tandy. We have bi-weekly meetings with him, and we discuss all these different things. And so that's a time for us to come to these department heads and to ask them questions. And that also means that we have that on the Senate calendar. And so Senate meetings are open to anybody, any student, which means if there's a department head coming in and you have a group of students that wants to ask questions, you have the ability to yield your time to other people. So keep that in mind. If people actually want to come in, if their department heads want to have to say it, keep that in mind. Looking towards shed, it's going to be great. As Regent Partridge talked about, we've put in a lot of time to prepare this. We have socials, we have breakfast, we have events, we have team building things. It's really going to be great. I'm going to ask that those of you that have committed to coming to shed this year, stick around after the meeting and just come to this table here. I have a couple of final questions to figure out housing arrangements and hotels, stuff like that. This semester is going to be great. I'll echo what Clive said. If you're thinking about running for Senate positions or encouraging other people to run, and you think that we could help, come to us. We want to be a resource for that. Also, if you're running for VP or my position, we would like to help you in that as well. We have great people here. We want to continue the great work. We know that you can continue the great work. And that goes along to say that after the elections, there's going to be a transition, of course. We plan to make that a very thorough and intense transition, meaning not leaving you in the dust, not just throwing the reins away and walking away. No, we're going to walk you through it, give you all the resources you need to be great and successful. Because that's really what this is. I mean, it's tremendous work what we've done. There's a lot to do yet. So hold on and buckle up. End of report. Any questions? Senator Keel.
Do we have a schedule for those department meetings?
We do. It's all on the Google Calendar, Senate calendar. Yep. And we also have Dr. Herrick Skeppers coming in February 4th to present his proposal on the outdoor condenser microphones. We have Dr. Jade Herman. I'm scheduling for her to come in and present on the help that we're going to give or propose to give for December 2026 commencement. So there's going to be lots of stuff that actually is impactful. And that's a good thing, right? When we can sit here, have a longer meeting, but do stuff that actually matters, that can actually help students, that's a tremendous thing. So, yes. Any other questions? Moving on. Let's go to the international report.
Okay, this Saturday we got 12 new international students, specifically 11 grad and 1 undergrad in electrical engineering. So I met all of them, talked about Student Senate and GSS. So they've both, all the new grad students have also met somebody from GSS specifically. I think she holds one of the specific positions in there. So they have all the resources to reach out to whatever they need. And I also gave Josiah's email them too. So that's about it about the new students. And ISA Friday, there's ISA Friday. So 6 p.m. Kansas City Street. So if anybody's interested, come over.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions? All right. Moving on to veteran report.
Oh boy, a question about your soiree, your soiree. Did you want Sean or someone of the leaders to talk specifically there?
Yeah, I believe I sent out an email.
We were double checking.
And I have not responded to that response.
That's why we were double checking. Okay, do you have a specific topic you want him to talk about? If not, he can come up with something.
I wanted you guys to focus on your collaboration with Golden Club.
Okay, good. That was the topic he selected.
Excellent.
Okay. Over the break, we sent some more quotes to the Student Veterans of America, SVA, in the Springs. It was very good, except for the lack of engineers representation. And as usual, the School of Mines is always sought after and is spoken highly of. One of our dudes kind of went just insane wild dingo and talk to everybody very in depth. We're gonna see if he can do some kind of a feedback or how to build resumes, because they said, you know, we've seen you so much, you ought to just come work for us. So how can you beat down the door of talking to a recruiter that much? So if we can get that legible, we'll pass it on if we need to. And then, let's see, Nemo is gonna happen at some point. I don't know if it's February or what. If we here in the Senate or if the clubs you're a part of want to participate in that, let us know. We'll help you build your chariot and we'll get you more data if you want it. That's what I got.
All right. Joe, you have a question?
For our freshman senators, can you elaborate on Nemo? Senator, they're looking puzzled.
Oh, it's very, very simple. You put an outhouse on wheels, we watch you guys run around with it, and then you eat hot dogs and drink Diet Coke. It's a great time. It's also really super cold unless it's hot. And it's an excellent opportunity to fundraise. Does that suffice? Okay, good.
VP Weed.
Would you be willing to lead Senate's outhouse and gather the support necessary?
Absolutely. I'll just rope you in what we're doing. That's less work for me. I'll be a point of contact.
Sweet. All right, moving on to graduate report.
Yeah, GSS is gonna have a meeting sometime here in a month, hopefully. I need to get in contact with Cheyenne out back. There's a couple of things that are on my mind that I want to kind of wrap up for this year. Yeah.
All right. Any questions? Seeing none, moving on to non-trad report.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue, didn't do much over break, but now that the semester starts, I'm going to continue to promote the scholarship database and continue talking with institutional research to get that non-trad list and a report.
Great. Any questions? Moving on, Constitution Committee.
Working on the changing of the appointed senators. I might have made progress. I went and talked to Vicki Bender right before the semester ended, and we're working on something. For everybody else, she's in charge of ITS, so that would be who runs the ballot. So what is possible in terms of that. Also, next week we'd like to have the wrestling club and the Orem present.
Good.
And report.
Sweet. Any questions? Seeing none, moving on to PR.
Tomorrow is the Orem Fair from 4 to 6 p.m.
That's right.
I will be manning the booth. I'm hoping I get one more volunteer. And then we do not have current PR meeting time yet. I will get that done. Hopefully after this meeting.
All right. Let's figure that out right now. Who wants to help Aiden tomorrow? 4 to 6 p.m. Wonderful. Kaylee, I saw your hand first. There you go. Do you need another one?
No, good.
Okay. Thanks so much. Let's go to GR.
We have a lot of stuff to do. Got shed coming up. We got the bill tracker flowing along and things are starting to come in. Bring our A game as we go in and talk to these guys and help some people out, get us represented on the statewide level. And Anthony's been working hard on the local level. We're going to try and get our voice out there to the city council and try to get some reports going this semester. We got a lot of fundraising to do. Got our goal to meet, and so Alfredo's going to be working hard. Please, when you get the opportunity, well, when we have opportunities for you, sign in. I know you're going to be busy. Support your teammates. help us fundraise, then we'll get to the goal, and that'll help us accomplish our goals. And then Ivan's gonna try and make it fun. So, we'll, hopefully we have a great semester and we'll finish this thing out.
Hoorah.
And a report.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you, Senator Meyer. Let's go Student Affairs Committee.
All right, so we're hoping to probably meet tomorrow at 1. We'll talk, but get things rocking there. As far as current projects, we haven't really been able to get going, but we're trying to get cabling pretty quick. I know Carson's really hard at work with that. And Aiden, I know you're doing the career fair booth tomorrow. I know, have you seen his pamphlets he's got going? You could print some of those off. He's got kind of a nice version going on. So.
We did talk about that. I remember in E-Board, at the end of last semester, kind of using some of the materials he was making for cabling, just so that not only are we using the work fair as an opportunity to hopefully introduce the idea of running for Senate in, some people, but also educate the student body more on what we do.
Yeah, have you seen his newest one? I think it looks pretty decent, so I think printing off a couple of those just so people can take and read, I think it's probably a good use of time.
Please just send me any materials you think would be useful for just informing the student body, so anything that Carson has made,
Sounds good.
just send them over to me and I will get those ready for the work fair.
Sounds good. And then I think that's all I have so far. So.
Okay. Any questions for Senator Clausen? VP Reed.
Ice cream flavor or
yeah, no, we'll talk about that tomorrow at our meeting. So
also the anonymous survey or anonymous comment box has a couple of questions and
Any update on CIA pizza parties or special offers?
no, that email needs to get sent back out.
Okay.
I got talked to you guys at eBoard last semester
Yep.
about revamping the entire thing. So we've kind of got that figured out. So I'm gonna go out. We'll put that into place.
topic in the leadership forum, perhaps.
Yeah. All right, parking ad hoc. You got anything?
Yeah. Well, not really. Towards the end of the semester, instead of actually meeting every week for about 3 weeks, we just got a set of dreams to crush. Mostly. But other than that, that's all that we've been doing.
Okay.
Doing the deals.
All right. Okay. Yep. Vice President.
Did you talk with Josiah at all about the parking?
I was going to ask.
Okay, yeah, coordinate on that. Just talk briefly about that and see if we can.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Something about
like the red versus the blue, how many red versus blue passes were given out this year, and the proportions of who bought those, stuff like that. We're curious about that because Graduate Student Services, they're trying to brainstorm if graduate students would be able to get blue parking passes, if I understand it correctly, to help them with distances of walking and proximity to buildings at night, stuff like that.
Didn't I forward you a list of parking passes sold?
Yeah.
Sure.
Right, it was from one of you.
At the beginning of the semester.
Yeah.
You asked me that. I don't remember if it was broken down by color.
There was one that broke down by color. So I just wanted to put it in your brains. I want to discuss that with everyone here.
All right. Will, you're back on the spot. EHS and R?
Yeah, so we met in December finally, and then I'm going to meet again next Tuesday. I better tell you about it because I'm going to meet them again, so you get fair enough about it. First of all, I got some results back from our safety walk. Mostly the work orders were put in for adding lighting, replacing lighting. I have this list if we want to just send that out and everybody can look at it and see what the results were. And that's that. The other part of it is the notes from the actual meeting itself. the committee is also in charge of who sets lab safety policies. So a new lab safety policy that includes the makerspace and labs and shops on campus includes forbidding the manufacturing of firearm components. And those are part of state policy of what's considered a firearm, part of a firearm. But what's important here is this isn't school policy, this is lab policy of what's not allowed.
Okay.
So what that would end up doing is, like the gunsmithing club wouldn't be able to do any of their projects on campus. But what was brought up at the meeting and that I have to say I agreed with was, I think it'd be beneficial for the gunsmithing club to go out into the surrounding community. There's quite a few gunsmiths, gun manufacturers, parts manufacturers like that. Just like other clubs do, not everybody does their club activities on campus. And I don't think that's unreasonable.
Have you relayed that to them yet?
No. To that
Or
club?
do they know about the policy
To that
change?
club?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna guess they probably do, but I don't know that for sure.
Maybe we can communicate that. Senator Stevenson, do you have a question? What? Not anymore? Okay. Sorry, continue.
And then they had we changed the policy on handling a certain chemical, dechloromethane. It's not really dangerous. It's odorless, combustible. Smells like chloroform. Sounds like bad stuff. Anyway. And then another thing they're working on is establishing a, quote, free for campus chemical inventory for research and proof of concept type things. Well, you can't just go and pick that, but this comes mostly from forgotten stashes that they find in some professors, somebody's closet or something. Over the years, they find stuff that's been unlabeled. They can tell maybe it's from the 1960s. What it actually is, we don't know. Some of them are labeled. They can tell that they still they can do their chemical job. So the idea is there's a lot of research that requires a certain chemical, but instead of the school having to go out and buy a huge amount of that chemical because you can only buy that so much at a time, the researchers can go to this repository and try out their experiment first before they scale it up.
With some of the old stuff.
Yeah, some of the old stuff. See if it still can shake things up or not.
Okay.
Another thing I brought up was whether or not I don't remember when this was brought up here, but about drinking water being tested on campus, and the filtering and all that. And this is what the reply I got from one of the members on the committee, that the water is tested and treated that is in the HVAC systems, the steam, because it's in a closed loop, so it has to be tested once in a while to make sure that it's not growing something.
Yep.
Another member on that, he's a TA or something, and one of his classes last year did a test at the water filling stations all over campus for heavy metals, and they even did it in the old MI building, and they found no problems. It's perfectly fine drinking water. And there isn't, the other thing, I think somebody thought that there was a central filter or something.
Right.
No, that's not, it's just the city drinking water.
Yep.
Right, so.
Got it. Senator Wright, do you have a question?
And
were you done with your
report?
Yeah, in terms of the chemical inventory that's going to be public to the school, some of the businesses have chemicals that are like 15 years old and that are listed over like percent or whatever. Ideally, Dean Joe, Corey, please correct me if I'm wrong, is there like a school lines policy to where we're supposed to like, ethically, dispose of the chemicals, especially when they're like hazardous and risky and it's tough to identify? I know Margaret, she does a good job of identifying certain chemicals, but she can't identify all the chemicals.
Yeah, that's definitely that department's, right? Every time you do the lab safety test presentation, they always tell you about that, that you bring it to them. I don't know if you want to walk in their office with whatever you got, but.
No,
Yeah, that's.
Senator Jensen?
But they have
motion
methods.
to discussion.
Okay. Senator Ball? Okay, we're done talking about it. Thank you, Senator Keel. Commencement Ad Hoc Committee, we are going to be sending out the email that December 2026 will be the last fall commencement. Other than that, we're going to be starting to plan the spring one. The fall one went really well. A lot of people showed up. That's really all I got for that. Do you have anything more? Okay. Moving on to housing and dining.
So you guys will have an email at 8 o'clock tomorrow, getting your availability, and then we'll get a meeting for dining.
Wonderful. Wellness Committee.
We have a big meeting on the 20th. As big as in all caps. So you know it's big.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's coming up on the 20th.
Yeah, it's coming up on the 20th. The last one got canceled.
Well, this one better not be canceled.
It's a big one. So.
It better be big. It better be huge. Let's do Survey Ad Hoc Committee.
We haven't met in a while.
Okay. All right. Campus beautification. Ivan, you weren't at the meeting, but I have an update from Ms. Parker.
Thank you.
Oh, I had the report from her.
Oh, you do? Well, please, well, please.
Okay. Says they've started taking down building signs and started making new ones to replace them. They're thinking about putting banners on lampposts on St. Joseph Street. They're considering to work on a biking trail. They're discussing where and if they should put an M sign above the brick sign by Survey or by the one by O'Hara. And they're also discussing how to get more plants and vegetation on campus.
Got it. And I can talk to you guys separately about other ideas and generations. I just want to keep this moving. Thank you. Athletics Ad Hoc.
No report right now, but big things coming down the pipeline.
Okay. I should get you paired up, Senator Stolman, you and Jensen paired up with meeting with Rob Sales and David Crum within the next couple weeks to discuss that thing that's been ongoing. They've been busy, we've been busy, but hopefully we can, in this new semester, get that worked out. IBL Ad Hoc Committee, I have not reached out to you. I don't know if you still know who you are. They're in the process of hiring Dan Ewert. He is the guy that's going to be in charge of IBL. I'm going to get him and Larry Simonson to come in, present. They're test trialing IBL right now, mostly for the fall. They were thinking it was doing the spring here, but they're still working out some kinks and details, and so we'll get you in on that. Food pantry ad hoc.
I think you can dissolve that. I don't Carson left. Who else? Yeah, there's a few others.
I think we had a pretty good, discussion, and I think we pretty much mapped out our plan, so.
So, no need to meet anymore, we can dissolve it.
Got it. What was the decision? I don't know if I heard about it.
Do you want me to talk about it?
Sure.
Yeah, so basically we determined we had kind of two routes to go down. It was either like kind of limit like access, like put it somewhere where someone has to come in and like ask for it because like we have a lot of food going, or we can try to just increase the amount of food that we're fundraising and put out signage and whatnot. We pretty much decided that that's the way we want to go. We don't really want to try to limit it for people.
Okay.
So as long as we're able to keep it stocked by increasing the amount of food that we're bringing in, we don't want to put it away. That's kind of our nuclear option if we can't meet that standard.
Got it. Okay.
And then a year from now, with further renovations, we may be able to put it behind a key access door that all students would have access to. So I've only seen this happen twice. I told the committee where somebody comes from off the street, clearly not a student taking it. But if we're able to get, kind of a good sized closet, pantry type thing, any student can then log in 24/7 and take what they need.
Got it. Wonderful. All right, upcoming Senate business. Next week we have more presentations from department heads. Wednesday, we're getting closer to Shed. This is right after MLK Day, so concentrate on Wednesday. Announcements, I have none right now. The one announcement, people that are going to Shed, come right here in about 20 seconds. Do I have a motion? Senator Keel.
Have an announcement?
Yep.
Constitution Committee team, are we good to keep meeting after these meetings? In general?
You're missing Jen, but.
He'll be all right. We are meeting today also.
Good? PQE.
Leadership, so I'm going to be sending you guys the RSVP form.
All right. Senator Bowmeister.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second. Is that Salcido? Did I see it? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Objection? Shed people, come to me.